Number two on our list, most exciting one for me, but we have to be realistic with our show. We had to talk about gold first. In a stroke of pure magic, it appears Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic may be making a return. Rumors began swirling via the BOB podcast, where Bespin Bulletin had stated a new Knights of the Old Republic game is in development. Even more exciting, it is not with EA. Quote, amongst my digging, I heard there was a new Knights of the Old Republic project in development somewhere, Bespin Bulletin said. Quote, I talked to a couple of people, and I also found out that Jason Schreier said it's not with EA, and will never guess who the studio is that's making the game, end quote. During January of 2020, reports had surfaced that Knights of the Old Republic was receiving a reboot. That report arrived via Cinelinx. Quote, according to one source, the previously mentioned Knights of the Old Republic remake is back in development. My other source added that they felt it wasn't so much a remake, but a sequel of sorts. It would be a Knights of the Old Republic project that would integrate elements from the first two games in order to bring certain things into the current Star Wars canon. Not necessarily a remake, so much as a reimagining, end quote. Now, while I personally had reported on my YouTube channel an email Jason Schreier had sent me and given me permission to share 10 months ago that the next KOTOR game, whatever it is, will not be handled by EA, I also wanted to add some of my own scoops from two sources I trust to put on top of all this. Furthermore, I did contact Jason about the recent surge in stories and if there were any developments whatsoever, and he actually said he was surprised by this and that he hadn't said anything new since we last spoke. So just keep that in mind there, that this may be very well, as I had suggested, the same story I reported through Jason 10 months ago. So when it comes to my sources, the first thing that they told me was development's coming along well. It's highly likely we will see an announcement this year, so be prepared for that. Unfortunately, due to COVID, it's also possible that setbacks can occur, and this can also be inferred by the Lucasfilms games write-up, where they said that they will be announcing more Star Wars projects this year, so this is likely one of them. The second is a source said that it may not be the KOTOR we know, which is just like what Cinelinx had suggested. They said that it rather may be the aptly named, quote, High Republic, end quote. The High Republic is set 200 years prior to the prequels. Meanwhile, the Old Republic is thousands of years ago in a galaxy far, far away. To add more to the KOTOR pot, back in May of 2019, it was said that Knights of the Old Republic would be hitting big screens in some way thanks to BuzzFeed. When Kathleen Kennedy was inquired about this, she said, quote, yes, we are developing something to look at right now, but I have no idea where things may fall, end quote. The movie is reportedly being written by Laida Kalogridis, who worked on the insanely underrated Alita Battle Angel, most recently, as well as Shutter Island and Altered Carbon. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic launched exclusively on Xbox July 19, 2003, before coming to PC on November 19th of that same year. A year later, Obsidian Entertainment created Knights of the Old Republic 2, which launched December 6, 2004, and came to PC February 8, 2005. You can play both Knights of the Old Republic titles via backwards compatibility on Xbox, and in 2015, Knights of the Old Republic 2 received a major PC update via Asper Media that included controller support, Steam Mod Workshop, widescreen support, and much more. Both games are also available to play on the app stores via your smartphones or tablets, and those ports were also handled by Asper. Whew, breath. Matthew Mandela writes in, hello, gentlemen. First, you guys are killing it with this show, loving this content. Second, as a fellow KOTOR lover, how does this series come back in a good and meaningful way? Do you rehash the same stories and characters? Do you shoehorn in the new High Republic stuff? Should the combat system change? I'm excited, but also nervous. How would you two bring this series back? Thanks. Carrick, I've certainly run my mouth enough here. This is all you, brother.
I don't know about the 10-month thing. I would have to talk to you off camera. Or you, if it's short, you can explain it. But basically, all I can say is prior to their podcast, I tweeted about a weird DM I had gotten that was like, and it was weird because it was out of the blue and it was from somebody that I've not dealt with. But then somebody else said, this person is real. You want to DM about something? And it was about Star Wars. But I'm probably just don't have the like, you've been in the deep RPG landscape way longer than me. I don't have any real contacts for that unless they're at the company, which I don't, apparently. I did hear a company name, which is not beyond guessing, by the way, which I found very odd. And then I saw somebody else say that a couple days ago and then delete their tweet. I don't know if you saw that.
Tom Warren.
I think it was it. Yeah, somebody tweeted and said, no, you can probably guess it, and then deleted the tweet. And like, that's what I was told too, was like the name of the company. I was all, oh, well then why are people saying, but anyway, long story short, there's a couple things out there. it was weird to me because I just said, whoa, I got a weird DM. If that's true, shit's going to hit the fan. And then I went to sleep and didn't really think much about it. I thought it was sort of, sometimes you'll get that person who pretends to be multiple people and
Of course.
throwing out like news. So I didn't, and I don't get those scoops very often. So I just sat on, I usually get friends being like, hey man, we're working on this. And
Oh yeah, lucky you.
but what I was told doesn't jive with Old Republic. It jives with High Republic.
Yep, that's what I heard too.
And that it would be like a Knights of the High Republic.
Yep.
Now, if that
Digital
turns
fist
out
bump,
to be
let's go.
true, yeah, digital fist bump. If that turns out to be true, right? I think that fits even a little bit more than Old Republic. Not because you can't do Old Republic later, you can, but it would tie in with what they've got going on, which is their novels, and their fear of getting too far away from Luke and Vader. And that would explain also the weird oddity I got about how it's going to mention these characters, but be nowhere near the time frame of these characters. And I was like, so what I'm assuming is it'll mention some kind of conflict and it will talk about like a Revan or a Malak maybe, and the old stuff as filtering prior to Luke and them. But I don't know much about 200 years prior to the Republic. Like, I don't know the High Republic time frame. I don't know.
And yeah, I mean, the knowledge is limited,
the
right?
first novel came out. Yeah, knowledge is really limited. Like, so, and which, by the way, could be amazing.
Right.
Like, what if knowledge is limited because there's a filter on it because, like, some huge thing happened and, like, a Darth, bad guy went out and, made sure nobody could continue to tell people about him or something in Luke and Vader's time. Like, there's some cool shit.
Yeah, dude,
So.
I am beyond excited about this rumor, of course. For those who don't know and have just been introduced to us through this show, for me and Carrick, Knights of the Old Republic are our favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I adore this franchise. I freak out about it all the time. I play it every single year. It's like a tradition, and I've dedicated a ton of coverage on my channel to it. So yeah, seeing this was extremely exciting because it built on the previous reports that had come out. In answer to Matthew's question, how do we bring this back in a good and meaningful way? I know a lot of people want to see the Old Republic. I do too, because there is that ancient, unaware, almost political nature to it all that really I feel, because like when you look at any of the Star Wars movies, and they're all like kind of, we know everything, where there's a sense of figuring things out with the Old Republic that I really like, and especially that's represented in things like the armor they wear, this heavy metallic stuff, using vibro swords, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Just really is awesome, combining that with, of course, lightsabers, and especially because you don't begin, at least in the first one, as a Jedi. I love that shit. Like, I love that they kind of embrace the side that isn't about just Jedis right off the bat. And so I think you bring that back by maybe there's a vein in the Old Republic that could kind of go through time a little bit, and we could see that appear in the High Republic and have it make sense. Certainly, without spoiling anything, in the Revan book, which is kind of the conclusion to the whole KOTOR series, which is written by the main writer of KOTOR 1, maybe there are some really super powerful figures introduced in that book.
Yeah.
And maybe you carry something like that into High Republic. I like this though, because for me personally, what excited me about the Old Republic was, as a kid, it's what got me into Star Wars. I didn't like Star Wars, and then I played the Old Republic, and that's kind of what jived with me. The excitement comes from the idea that maybe if this is like we've been told, Knights of the High Republic, that it'll jive with people in a way that it did for us. It'll be a lot of people's first time getting into Star Wars. And if they maintain that spirit of KOTOR, this could be great. This is still, like I mentioned, 200 years prior to the prequel. I share Matthew's nerves as well. Of course, this can go a number of ways. But I know you've maybe heard some names, but do you have some guesses on who might be doing this? Or should I just handle all that so you don't divulge any specific studios? Because I don't know. Pondering, thinking. Stealing.
Yeah, I don't even want to put it in chat.
Okay.
Because can I put it? Oh, do we have Discord? Yeah, you can handle it. My shit's not going to show up if I type it to you, right?
No.
Can we open chat on this thing?
Before Carrick sends anything, I'm going to go ahead and just suggest Asper Media, because they've handled a lot of the KOTOR ports. They're currently developing a AAA RPG and have hired a ton of BioWare vets from BioWare Austin. This was previously the studio that, when a lot of KOTOR reboot rumors surfaced back in 2016 and 2017, that Jason Schreier had said that project had been put on stasis. It was at that studio, BioWare Austin. So a lot of that staff has migrated to lead positions over at Asper Media.
Oh, very cool.
So that would be my
and
major
they've
pick.
handled all the patches and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and people don't realize Asper is in. We've talked about. I think when I first started the channel, for some reason we talk, or not channel, but your podcast, we talked about Asper because they are a huge support studio as well.
Yeah.
Doing side stuff. You find them and all different stuff. So I was just told that name as somebody to watch for, and then I can't say the other stuff, but
I will also put out there
People will
spiders.
probably think I'm being a jerk, but I'm not.
No, I get it, though.
I don't want to do. Maddie can do videos because he's more of the like fucking. This is KOTOR's my favorite thing. The reason why I don't talk about this stuff is because I don't want to be the guy who does say something and somebody's like, haha, we set him up. You know, so it's like I'm ultra cautious about anything. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to suggest as well that it could be spiders as just as a cool guest.
Oh, God. That would be so weird to see spiders, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it could
fit.
Spiders with some money, it could fit really well. It could fit really well. And High Republic, Maddie, we have no clue what, I mean, I don't, at least. I don't know how the Jedi were set up. I don't know how the fucking Sith were set up. I don't even know, like, where technology was. You know how technology in that world sort of stays the same. Like, Coruscant in KOTOR is, like, how many thousands of years prior, and then you look at it and you're like, yeah,
pretty familiar.
Sort of the same.
Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty, and it's like a lot of the same planets, and you're like, seriously, we can't get 200 years before America self-detonating. Like, I don't know how these races last this long. The reason why High Republic interests me is because, dude, you could do shit where you set up. Let's say you're making the show, the movie, the game, whatever, and you find out people are liking the High Republic. You roll it into, like, you know, the future stuff, which is like Plagueis and all that kind of stuff, or just how Coruscant will look at that point. And let's say a lot of people are really chomping at the bit for Old Republic. Suddenly you start mentioning Revan and Malak, and now you can do an Old Republic game.
Yeah.
Like, there is some flexibility, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the idea of a High Republic game is sort of
exciting.
Yeah.
I'm reading the Light of the Jedi book right now. So, because I already had interest prior to all of this, just because it's a new era of Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, I kind of want to get into this early on, and I've never really done that because there's like so many comics and books, and you can just go anywhere. And a lot of them, like you said, are tied somehow to like the Skywalker saga. And I've kind of just had my fill of that. So for me, plus just having something Republic in your name, just it really attracts me. I'll be completely honest. So I've only just started reading that. I only read a couple of chapters, not enough to give a thought piece here on.
You know what's
the
sort of a sign of something that's going on though, Maddie?
What's up?
LucasArts authorized the special forces that are used, the special force powers that are used in that book.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Something weird's going on, because they specifically, there's a force power in there that is quite a lot like some stuff in KOTOR, which is not in. And LucasArts stated that stuff that's in there is canon. And when you see it, I'm sure you'll know what I mean. But when you start reading it, you'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because it's not a small thing. It's not like different colored force lightning. It's like a big thing. And you're like, oh, wait. Okay, so this means there is some huge connection. It almost feels like a bridge. It's like, if we release this book, it's a good bridge between Knights of the Old Republic the way LucasArts may want to do it, but with their slight adjustments, obviously.
Yeah.
In the end of Revan, which I haven't read Revan, so the end of Revan, which ending, I'm sure this won't ruin it for anybody, this is fucking ages ago, but Revan, which ending did they choose for the book for Revan? Good or bad? Was Revan good or bad?
Light side.
So, okay. So Revan was light side in that that's canon at that time.
Yeah, because he romances a particular character and lives with that person. So
yeah, I was just wondering how they would, High Republic, if because they did talk about Plagueis in the later ones, which was older. They didn't mention like Tulak Horde or anything. They don't mention those guys, do they? In the new movies? No, they don't mention that kind of ancient shit.
Another thing worth noting is I think it was The Last Jedi. had like an art book come out, and they had the Knights of Revan,
Yes!
the Knights of Revan or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
Sith Lord. So all I'm saying is like Knights of the High Republic hunting the Knights of Revan or something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of avenues. They're unlocking a couple of subtle doors, and with all of that disregarded, you just got to take one look at the movie rumors, a trilogy, which Star Wars loves their trilogies. Game rumors have circled for years. Now we have suddenly this new Republic type of thing. And then we combine the Force powers and some of the other pieces we're putting together here, like these subtle
there's
doors.
a lot going on. It's obvious something's happening. It's obvious.
And if that's not enough, the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is like, we talk about KOTOR all the time and we're trying to figure something out. Like they're fucking looking. So I have no doubt in my mind that this is something that will happen, and I'm sure it'll happen sometime this year. Announcement, I mean. It's just really a matter of when. So we also have one other question from Matthew Armelli. Hey, boys. So Disney is freeing up the Star Wars license and allowing the return of KOTOR. Disney was quick to put a tight leash on Star Wars lore when they bought out Lucas. They scrubbed basically anything Legends and wanted to run everything through a narrow pipe, probably why it was easy for EA to bamboozle them into an exclusive deal. On the other hand, Games Workshop and their Hammer 40K IP get a lot of flack for basically shilling it off to anyone to use. Do you think a similar fate awaits Star Wars games now, or will they be able to maintain a high bar of quality?
No. Yeah. It's identical. Games Workshop was the exact same way as Star Wars, and they got shit because they only had a couple people developing. Games Workshop has done this twice now, gone the full circle, where they were tight, then they were like, okay, we'll let people do it, and then it was a disaster after a while, and then they were tight again, and now it's back to open again. So I think I could see Star Wars doing that. But, I grew up, I don't know about you, I grew up with Star Wars. You got your fucking stuff on Atari, and then you've got your stuff on
it was everywhere.
SNES.
I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, and then you had the 2D ones, and you had, then you have like your Rebel games on the GameCube, which, by the way, Microsoft, the story broke this morning, Microsoft did try to purchase the Rogue games from GameCube so that they were Xbox exclusives. Yeah. And they almost got him to do it, and then they were like, we have a deal with with Nintendo, and it failed right Nintendo. At the end. LucasArts and them. Yeah. So I mean, I don't see it being an issue. Just control what the fuck you're doing. We don't see a ton of Marvel games. We see one bad Avengers, but I'm surprised we haven't seen. Well, we just see a lot of mobile games, but you know what I mean. I'm surprised the only good Marvel game got canceled, which was fucking Omega. Suck butts. God suck butts. That game is so good. It's still installed. Yeah. I'm never gonna uninstall it. From
I have confidence they'll bring back Marvel Omega. Just cause.
Yeah, oh, dude.
Just cause. Just cause.
I would. I gotta. Oh man, I would. If they did that, I would be so happy.
Yeah, dude.
So happy.
Of course.